The next move set. I wasn't able to find an online-only emotional affair and quick background. My wife and I have been married 3 years and together for 10 years. I recently discovered she's had an online boyfriend for the last 4 months. She says she doesn't want to get divorced but is in love with this online boyfriend. She doesn't want to work on the marriage because she feels it's missing something and wants to figure out if she is really in love. The OM thinks she is single and living alone and I am only her ex-BF. He doesn't know she was married. Wife has multiple online relationships but only this one is strong. I still believe the woman I married exists, which is why I am holding on to the marriage. It's like she is two people, the online unfaithful wife and the in-person good wife. I moved out Monday, 2 days ago, but realized that this only enables her cheating by allowing her to pretend to be single all day instead of when I'm at work. It also puts me at risk financially. I'm moving back in tonight. I want to be a strong man and show her that the marriage can still work if she decides on it. I'm not going to be a doormat though and will set boundaries such I will not move out to enable her cheating. Question: am I supposed to take her out on dates and show I am still a good husband, or do I cut this off and not be available until she ends the affair? Another random question: how big of a mistake is it if I contact the online guys involved, main online boyfriend and secondary online boyfriend, and told them the truth? This would end the affairs, but I am hesitant because I want her to do it on her own. I also think more online affairs will happen shortly afterwards. Yes, there were clues for a few months something was going on, and I looked at her phone last week to finally get definitive proof. I am trying to objectively describe things so I can demonstrate my absolute confusion on this online boyfriend. I hope it does not come off as bragging or make me seem like a bad person. I am trying to state facts to show why this is so unbelievable. Me, mid-30s. I am in extremely good shape from exercising for my entire life and especially hard the last 5 years. Wife is also in excellent shape. I am attractive. I have one woman come up to me to see if I would take them home from the bar this year, and another at a pool come up and whisper nice body. I have a good job as software architect. I decided early in our relationship that she would not need to work because I am able to support us both easily. Him, 20. He works a minimum wage job and lives with parents per her phone chats. He is not attractive. His social media has no pictures of him and he uses anime characters as his profile pictures. I saw one picture of him online and he's not attractive. I don't want to describe what I saw because it'll make me seem like a bad person. I just cannot understand how she fell in love with this guy. It literally doesn't make sense to me. I honestly think her life is so easy without having to strive or work that she became bored. It seems so unlikely and impossible that she can even logistically have a relationship with him, which is why I won't give up on it. I still love her, and even to the time I discovered the affair, our relationship was exactly the same. We spend all our weekends with family, out of town, and we are still intimate. Almost nothing has changed. It is like she is two people now, the woman I love and this online person. From her side, she feels our relationship lost something. She said she sees her future with me still and wants to start dating again when this is over. She needs time to figure out if the love is real. I know I am in defense mode and looking extremely weak, but I feel it's either this or divorce, which I am not prepared for yet. I also do not want to give her money if we divorce because she has not worked in 7 years. In my state, we only split what was earned in the years married, so at least it's not much. I will be getting a consultation with a lawyer soon to figure out how I can make the money that goes to her as low as possible. I know adultery and other factors can help me. I am also thinking about how dating will go, and I'm sure I will be able to find love again, but it'll be only after I'm not broken anymore. I made the terrible mistake of happy wife, happy life, and gave her everything with no responsibilities to her. There were times I was frustrated at her not working, cooking, or cleaning. I should have told her she needed to do those things to contribute to the marriage. She realized after a few years she could do whatever she wanted with no repercussions, and this led to cheating. I met with her today and she told me the time apart has given her an opportunity to miss me. She said she's still trying to work on figuring out if the love for her online boyfriend is real. We ate some food together and had intimacy, then I left again to give her more time. I thought on her words and realized if I wanted to save our marriage, I could only believe her and give her time. If she is still friendly and we are intimate, I feel like I can give the time. I am hoping for the best but will be preparing for the worst next week with an attorney visit. Also, the worst case is divorce. Isn't having an amicable ending better so we can agree to financial terms without fighting and getting lawyers? This will save a lot of money. I know the vast majority of everyone wants me to do scorched earth approach, but I just can't seem to be vengeful even if the person who I loved has utterly betrayed me. My time away from her has been good. When I'm in the house, I focus on her and think about her. When I'm away, I'm able to see the negatives and consider things more objectively. Some have asked why I am even trying to save it. These are not good reasons, but they are the truth. We've spent a long time together and I did love her. I love her entire family and the feeling is mutual. Personality-wise, we are a good fit and were best friends. Physically, I find her attractive and we are compatible there also. The thought of her being intimate with another man disgusts me. I mentioned if I had evidence of anything beyond talking, I would be able to end it easily. These are reasons that I have come up with why I would be happier without her. At this time, I do not think I will ever trust her again. She'd have to work so hard to earn it back that it'll be impossible. I'm imagining us back together and she gets a job. Then I'll be wondering if she's getting the job to save money to fly out secretly. I don't love her anymore, but I'm still in lust with her. I will have much more finances without her huge excessive spending. During my time away, I imagine dating someone who actually cares about, loves me, and it sounds wonderful. I would be out of this living turmoil I am in now. Questions. I want to start the divorce process now. Is this a bad idea without going to a lawyer first? Basically, showing my hand before it's ready. Maybe I can just say, in case we get divorced, I want to figure out the assets really quick. I want to do this without negotiation lawyers. She has already threatened to move to her mom's house if I move back in, and that will make it hard to get the papers and negotiation complete, so I think I will stay out until the day we sign the papers, then she can go to her mom's. Would it be wrong to move money from the account to a separate one before she can do it? I don't think she will, but she's not the person I thought I knew. I can confirm I am committed to the divorce after a lawyer. You've knocked the cold hard truth through my thick skull, but I'll be honest with you guys, I also believe the 1 in 14 million chance of saving anything begins divorce. However, I also know the other 99 million possibilities have divorce as the happiest path. I have to head home to get more camping supplies now and will not engage in discussions about how I want to save it. I'll listen to her. If she even talks, then I'll go. Maybe she'll drop the divorce bomb on me. I've reached the anger phase now. I can't believe this situation. I just saw her while getting more supplies and realized I no longer love her. She asked if I wanted to talk and I said no. I didn't say I love you when I left, first time in like 7 years. I might hate her now. I want to go home tonight, which will lead to her going to her mom's 3 hours away. I won't be able to drop the divorce papers on her Monday. I'll wait until Monday. I already started messaging a girl I found attractive but never talked to before due to being married. I know 100% I can find someone better, someone that can love me and contribute to the marriage. That helps. I told her I'll be home tomorrow for the weekend, and she immediately asked if we could eat, which I declined. She said she would go to her mom's out of state for the weekend, which I ignored. She got cheap fast food and after a while said she wanted intimacy before leaving. I did not respond. Then she said she's leaving and I did not respond. Her boyfriend is far too far away to drive to. She's coming back Monday because she thinks I'm going to stay with my friend again Monday. I need her back so I can serve the divorce papers. I don't think she is telling her parents anything yet. This is insanity. I found her old phone and she's had multiple online boyfriends spanning at least a year. Like a whole dating life. I'm in shock and numb. 2 years of online boyfriends confirmed. I'm still in shock, my friends. I'm numb, not even angry now. Within a year of our marriage, she started emotional affairs. It lines up exactly to where she stopped posting pictures of us online. She's made a resume and ready to get a job. The sad thing is, I saw she was searching for nice big houses near her mom because her and I talked about moving there right before I found out about the affairs. She might be delusional. There is no way I'll ever trust her again. She's being erased immediately once we get this started. Removing her family will be harder. My comment: wife's plan. Continue to lie to 20-year-old OM that she is single. Continue to romance the OM until she can see if her love for him is real. If her love for OM is real, she will leave you and go be with him. If not real, you can date her again and see if she can get her tingles for you back. Meanwhile, no one knows the truth about your wife and you. Not even OM wife cannot tell anyone, because even though she is Looney Tunes, she knows she is Looney Tunes. She knows if she tells anyone the truth, they will immediately be very concerned about her and maybe ask her to go see a psychiatrist. I think you should agree that she is not going to figure out if her love is real unless she meets him and has in-person loving. You say she sent him $20, not even enough to gas up the car, but you wonder where the couple thousand she had gone. Don't you think he could have traveled to see her on her dime? Maybe she sent him bigger money to help him repair his auto and then an extra 20 to top off the tank. Then again, maybe he came once to see her and it didn't work out. No matter, really. Agreed also that you are part of this pathology. Your wife is completely bonkers. You mentioned this guy started happening 4 months ago. You also mentioned that she has multiple online relationships, but this is the only one she is in love with. But we are talking about a wife of 3 years, together with you 11 years, who completely fractured from reality. In love with a 20-year-old she never met who she lies about being single. I have teenagers, and if they exhibited behaviors like your wife, and it just started happening 4 months ago, I'd force them to see help mentally. If my wife was acting like yours, I'd be posting on a psychological forum, not infidelity. Story 2. You know what I mean. I'm 64, and my wife is 53, been married almost 26 years and together for almost 27. In early 2016, shortly after I had a major surgery, my wife confessed to keeping a secret from me for the past 4 to 5 years. I am not sure why, but this lie we had been living sent me back to our beginning. In the beginning, a few months after she moved in with me, before marriage, she went on a mini vacation. She told me she was going away for a few days. When I asked why she was packing a bag the morning she was leaving, she had no intention of telling me. I got out of her where she was going, a city about a 7-hour drive away. With some inquiries I was able to figure out where she was. She had made arrangements to stay at a hotel where an old co-worker was now a manager, so she got a comped room, suite actually complete with jacuzzi tub. So, I call her there on the room phone and a male voice answers the phone. I hesitate for a few seconds and then ask for her. I hear them talking in the background for several seconds and she finally answers the phone. I ask her who answered the phone and she told me it was X, the guy she was seeing before me. I compose myself and hold back the urge to hang up on her and ask why he is there. She says that she promised him before we were together that if she went on this trip, she would take him. I asked her if we are done. She said we will talk when she gets back. There was a long silence and we both said goodbye and hung up. I contemplated calling her back and telling her that her stuff will be at her parents' and not to return to my home. I didn't do that. When she returned, we sat down and she told me that when I called, they were in the jacuzzi tub and that she was giving him a HJ, and that after I called, she locked herself in the bathroom for an hour and sat on the floor crying because she thought I would call it quits. We talked and we agreed nothing like this could happen again. No. So, after her confession in 2016, all that came flooding back to me, and I told her several times over the next 2 years that I don't believe her story and that I am 100% certain it was an all-out dirty weekend. I should point out that back then and now she has shown no remorse or regret that she did this. She only recently admitted it was a poor choice to take X with her. She told me after the last time this came up that if I ever bring this up again, we are done. She has softened a bit on that stance after I showed her a similar thread on one of these forums. After she was done reading it, I could tell by the look in her eyes that she just realized at least a little bit how much she hurt me and our relationship. My comment: I don't get it. She packed up and planned to spend a weekend with her ex in a hotel with no plans to tell you, except you caught her before she could leave. Then she blatantly lied to you, went to the hotel, and had slept with her ex. You proceeded to sit around waiting for her to get home, and then you married her. You married her knowing she planned and executed an affair. You married her knowing exactly what kind of person she is. So why, 26 plus years later, is this even a thing? You long ago accepted being married to a remorseless cheater, so why are you having trouble now? And, yes, she is remorseless. You know how I can tell. Because she saw and spoke to you while packing up to go screw him. If she actually felt guilty or a shred of remorse, she'd have stopped there. She didn't. She wasn't worried about losing you when she packed up, traveled to the hotel, took off her clothes, jumped in a jacuzzi, and started stroking his penis. She wasn't worried about losing you after you called her. Her lover answered the phone, and she told you she'd talk about it when she got back. If she gave a real damn, she'd have immediately left and come home to work it out or end it. What did she do? She went back to screwing her lover and wandered home when he was finished with her. I have to agree with your wife. You stayed. You chose to stay 26 plus years ago. You married her knowing who and what you married. It's time to either file papers or let it go. OP responds: as far as I know, there has been no other infidelity. Andy, we have had probably a typical marriage where there are some issues, but for the most part we have supported each other and loved each other. Most of you are correct that I thought I had dealt with this and was satisfied both through action and words that she was worth having as my life partner. Between late 2009 and early 2014 I had a devastating round with depression, which the docs gave me many different medications to counteract. None really worked. Side effect was ED, so medication for that too. That didn't work all that well either. So, in my crazed state, I figured wife isn't getting enough and I don't want to lose her, so I asked her if she wanted to try swinging. So in my simple mind here is a simple yes, no question. If any of you men reading this think the same, don't big mistake. See, before this I would have bet the farm that both of us think in the same way, mostly black and white with very little gray area. I was very wrong, but I didn't find out for several years. Then we had a rather large falling out around February 2016. We had not had a very good physical life for a while, and she was frustrated as I had a bad hip which was replaced 2 months prior. I was in a lot of pain for 2 years prior, and she had decided it was too much for us to have sleep together as often as we were used to. Anyway, I instigated one day and she at first resisted. I asked why and she said, "You are still in too much pain." To which I said, "I will be the person that decides that, not you." We proceeded to have the best time we ever had. She then made a pillow talk confession that when I asked her the stupid question, she couldn't handle it and had to see a therapist to work through it. I was crushed that she had to go through that and felt like she could not talk to me about it. At this point I should mention that her not talking through things with me has been the most frustrating part of our relationship. Hiding this from me is what brought back the feelings of betrayal from the beginning of our relationship. And for those of you that are saying I bring it up all the time, that is not the case. I brought it up 3 times since, and she once. My wife is a good woman that made a bad decision 27 years ago, and I cannot figure out why now this bugs me. It's frustrating as hell. I hope this helps you all understand, and sorry my opus was not clearer. As for the ultimatum, I'm sure it was made out of anger and frustration because the next time it was brought up it was her that did so. 27 to 26 years ago we worked on our relationship, made sure there was no one else in the picture for either of us, or decided to marry. We were seeing a therapist this past summer trying to figure a way to deal with a child issue. At the end of the sessions we were getting to our own relationship issues but had to put those on hold for other priorities. I think I will see the therapist myself first, then back to both of us. She went to therapy because I asked if that was what she wanted, and she took it the same way one of the other posters here took it. I think it was Cynthia. It was during a conversation about my lowered drive and ed combined. Remember this when I am being treated for moderate plus depression with meds that took away my drive and gave me ed. She thought I didn't care about her anymore, but it was just the opposite that drove me to that question. Anyway, she went to the therapist, she said 4 times at an hour each. What I got after 4 hours of therapy was just a no. We left it at that and tried to find other things that worked better for us. It helped that I recovered, but at the end of my depression she was going through menopause, which took away her drive at times, not consistently. So, as it became evident that menopause was over, we started dates at least once per week, and I do my best to get her to talk with me about any issues. My comments: I assume you realize that fairy tales are bull crap. There is no such thing as that one true love, soulmates, or other such tripe. You may have had a pretty good run of 27 years, but it also could have been just as good of a run, if not better, with someone else who did not cheat on you. She must have been a knockout back then for you to have rug swept it and married her despite the cheating. If that's true, then it's truly a shame that you would allow superficial things to crowd out the more important things in life. Apologies, but this is my best guess at what happened. Look in the mirror. That's who you truly resent in all of this. Story 3. I'm 33 years old and I've been married for almost 3 years now. I met my husband when I was 24. He's 7 years older than me, and we got serious pretty quick. I came into the relationship with a daughter, whom he raised as his own, as well as he came into the relationship with his own 3 children. So, I basically became a stepmom at 24 years old, living with him and our 4 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. You can imagine my surprise when I found out I was pregnant with a 5th, our baby, which completes our blended family. I dedicated my 20 seconds to being that mom, housewife, still working a full-time job. He proposed and we finally got married 3 years ago. Now when I say I got married for our family and to keep the family together, I did. My husband is a wonderful man, awesome father, he cooks, cleans, works hard, etc. But one thing that has happened in the midst of all these years is we have grown apart. There is no more romance, no intimacy. I cringe when he touches me and I am no longer attracted to him anymore. I want to say this has been going on for about a year. I think when the emotional connection between us started to drop us when everything else followed suit. He isn't big on communication, so I'm always the one to speak on this drift in our relationship. He loves me with all he has, but I don't feel that in love feeling anymore. The spark died a long time ago and I don't know what to do next. Our current living situation feels like we're roommates and we're clearly together for the children at this point. I'm not truly happy and I always put myself on the back burner to make sure everyone else is happy, including him. He doesn't want to lose me or let me go. I'm considering a separation so that I can have the time to myself that I've never had. I know he will take it very hard because he has made me his whole world. For the past 2 years, I've been training at the gym and my trainer has become my best friend. I vent to him and he respects my marriage in every way. He makes me smile, laugh, and I feel like I'm falling for him. He seems to be everything I'm not getting at home. I know that if I move on from my husband and proceed with this separation leading to divorce, I will have the chance to explore a new relationship, a chance at happiness and to feel love all over again. What do I do? I'm tired of the fake smiling and pretending everything is okay when it's not. I know I will be judged by everyone we know, like I'm the reason why the family is broken. I've been praying on it. Please chime in. I respect everyone's opinion. Hearing from possibly someone who's been in my shoes and just married period will be some insight for me. The thing is, I've talked to him about the communication. He never tells me what he's thinking. If we have a conversation, I do most of the talking and he stares at me with a blank stare and says okay. He makes no attempts at date nights anymore. The kissing goodbye, good night, have a good day has all become a pattern. I don't feel that fire inside anymore and I just feel like we grew apart. Yes, he's 7 years older than me and I was young when we got together. But now I've grown into a mature woman and I'm at the point where I can't pretend to walk around and be happy all the time when I'm truly not. We tried counseling before and even the counselor couldn't get much out of him. My trainer is just an example and proof that I can still feel something for somebody. Even before he was in the picture, I still felt the same way. Even before my trainer came in the picture, I still felt the same way. In no way has this had an impact on what was going on in my household originally. Our relationship has grown apart for a while now. If you notice that I said I'm tired of pretending to be happy when I'm truly not. At the end of the day, I'm making sure that my happiness is completely genuine. If you think that's selfish, it's called putting yourself first. I've put myself on the back burner for way too long and I'm not happy. Something that I've put off for years. I see it as being fair to let him go, and why waste any more time? On both ends. No, we've been together 10 years. People grow apart. I have to do what's best for my happiness because I'm tired of pretending to be happy. I think happiness and love should be genuine, not forced. I've put myself on the back burner for years. I don't want to continue to waste any more time. I can easily stop training and go back to working out at home. Before I even began at the gym, these issues were still there. That's why I say this doesn't have any effect on my judgment. It's just that we grew apart and I know if I feel it, then he has to feel it too. He just won't speak on it. I have spoken on it plenty of times and he makes no effort to fix it. Communication, intimacy, emotional, etc. I am not that young 24-year-old girl who fell hard for an older man anymore. I have grown to realize that I feel stuck, unhappy, and I am tired of walking around pretending. You mentioned your first marriage. So how did that turn out? I'm relieved to have someone to talk to who has been through this. My marriage been gone for years now. We stay together for the finances and the kids. We are like roommates and the affection, intimacy, communication and being in love has been gone a long time ago. Yet and still, we are married and neither of us has filed for anything. What we have been works for us, and we both know that we aren't in love like we used to be anymore. I've met someone who makes me 100% happy and we love each other. I believe it's time to tell my husband, but I am afraid of his reaction. I need someone to give me advice who has been in this type of situation. If you haven't been in this dilemma before, then don't comment because you wouldn't understand. How should I go about this conversation with him? We can't go on pretending like everything is fine when it isn't. I'm ready to finally move on and be genuinely happy. I can easily go back to working out at home. Will that solve our communication, intimacy, emotional problems though? They still exist and have for years. I've been trying. On his behalf he hasn't and doesn't see a problem with it at all. So, is the trainer really the problem here? I do believe after sacrificing my happiness for 10 years, it is time for me to, you can call it selfish if you like, put myself first. I believe I will feel a whole lot happier rather than miserable when I do. Example, in your situation, was it a relief when things ended? No more heartache, unfulfilling emotions, and unhappiness. Obviously, every relationship goes through ups and downs. The misconception everyone seems to be focusing on is my trainer. That's a small bubble compared to 10 years in a relationship that has outdone its time and a marriage that is just not working out. Regardless of anyone being in the picture or not, that doesn't take away any of the problems that already exist. At the end of the day, after all this time, I'm ready to make my genuine happiness a priority. And I feel so happy about that for once. My children are just fine. We can split custody, because what we're not going to do is compare my marriage to my motherhood. This isn't a forum on being parents. Maybe you got it confused. Two completely different topics, and I put my children before anything. So, does he, which is why we will do parent just fine. No one is living this life but me, so your mere opinions really don't matter. My kids will be good, regardless of what happens between me and their father. So, you mean to tell me all children from a divorced household stand no chance? Please, that's BS. It happens every day. If you guys are living in a fantasy land, it's time to wake up. Also note, whoever put words in my mouth and said I am leaving my husband for my trainer is obviously missing the point. The point is, my post clearly states the reasons why my marriage is failing, has been failing, long before a trainer, and I no longer want to go down this road. Save your bashing for a woman who sleeps with another man while married. That's the definition of a cheater to me. So get your mind right and think about your advice regarding an unhappy marriage, instead of focusing on a small detail of what I decided to include at the end of my post. There are plenty of happily divorced people who admit it just didn't work out the first time around. Yes, there is a possibility of finding love again and living in happiness with my children as my goal. My comment: you have met another man and you love one another. Yet in your mind you haven't cheated on your husband because you haven't had slept with that man. You are morally corrupt. OP, you should just be honest. You have fallen for another man. Tell your husband that. Then divorce him on those grounds because it is the truth. You are wash and dopamine from this new exciting man to whom you have confided in and given your affection to. Your husband cannot compete with that. Your reputation may take a hit, your husband and family may resent you, but at least you will have been honest about your motivations. That would be at least mildly respectable.